All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SoCal AI Talks podcast. I'm your host, Edgar, and along with my partner, Luis, we talk to business owners and entrepreneurs about their fields of expertise. And we talk about a little bit about AI and how that's affecting their industry. Today, we have Denise Boza, the owner and founder of Boza Yoga Littles, previously Boza Yoga Studios, now Boza Yoga Littles. Denise, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Well, thank you for asking. How about yourself?
Great, thank you. We love what you've done with Boza Yoga Littles. Yoga for kids is such a unique niche. So, how are things going for you? Can you give us a little bit of background on yourself and how you got that started?
Sure. So I started doing yoga probably about 15 years ago. And the first time I tried it, I promised myself I'd never do it again because it was a snooze fest. Then I found hot yoga a little while later because of my sister, and that's where I started to do yoga, and I was hooked, like right from the go, because I am kind of more like a hardcore girl. I would prefer to like feel like I got to work out instead of just owned or something like that. No offense to the people who do feel that way. And then after that, I started that journey, kept going, and I wanted to become a teacher because I wanted to deepen my practice. But as it turns out, I needed to teach too because it's a pretty hefty price tag to get a 200-hour certification. And then after that, I started to teach yoga. So this is probably like I'm going all over the place, but to go back before I even started to teach yoga, I always recognized that kids would watch me. Like if I was in the store or in a classroom setting or whatever, kids always seem to follow me. So like
Gravitate toward you.
there. And I
Interesting.
have a friend who's an OT, and she asked me to be her office manager. So I would go with her to places to meet all these kids who she would help out, and she would test them. And I was just enamored with these children. So that was where my kids stuff started. And then I gave you the yoga portion part. And then I started teaching yoga, and I was like, wait a minute, I should be teaching kids yoga. And that's when I started teaching kids yoga. So I started doing that, and then I realized that I could be better if I got a certification, and then I got my children's yoga certification. And then I would say kids yoga was born, my studio was born in COVID. Yeah. And at the tail end. And people were like, "Did you know there's a pandemic going on?" I'm like, "What's a pandemic?" I really wanted to open my studio. I could care less, but I'm not sure. I don't even think I answered your question. You asked me how I got into yoga.
Yeah,
Well, how you
just
got started? No, it's just journey. Yeah, your
your
general journey.
background.
I think you touched on it. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
during COVID, I
We
was like,
love
I
your
really
energy, by the way.
what?
yeah.
So we love your energy.
Okay, so during COVID, I was like, I really wanted to. I always had entrepreneurial aspirations. So during COVID, I was like, I want to open a kids yoga studio, and I was super excited about it. And my husband was like, "There's no kids yoga studios." I was like, "There's no kids yoga studios." I was so happy about it. His was a rebuttal, mine was excitement. So it was little. Anyway, and then I got really excited about that, not realizing that the reason why there's probably not a lot of kids yoga studios is because people don't see the benefits for kids and yoga. But I think they do now because of the pandemic. But either way, so yeah, that's how that started.
What kind of transformations or benefits do you notice the most in kids who attend your sessions like regularly?
Okay. So yogis know that yoga is a cumulative practice. The transformations and benefits that I've seen with children a lot. So mostly emotional regulation. And what that means is that when they have big feelings, it's not something that tailspins into an out of control situation. It becomes more like, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. I've had a lot of kids who do meditation now. Like that's a big deal. Like kids need to meditate. People need to meditate. I've gotten them to meditate as young as like 4 or 5 years old, and it feels like, first of all, kids love to meditate, and it's wild because if you told me to do that when I was growing up, I would have been like, "You're crazy, I'm not doing that." But the point is that they love it because I feel like there's so much stimulation coming at them at one time that it feels like they're happy to find that place. So that's a big part of the transformation, is these kids are able to find stillness inside. I also feel like there's a lot coming at them now because we're in a day and age of digital technology. We have a digitally distracted child, and they're looking for that. So we afford that to them. Like they come here, and not the whole class. Listen, there's some classes that you would look into my studio and you'd be like, "What the hell is going on in there?" It looks like absolute chaos. Trust me, it's organized chaos, but it's still, a little bit chaotic because there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of personalities, there's a lot of things going on. But at the end, when we're settled in and we finished up and we meditate, they come out with a great experience that they had. They got out all of their energy. And they had a good time. Like, that's a big deal. Like, kids are being able to experience a really good time being present. There's no screens. We're not looking at anything. We're using imagination. We're using playfulness. So I would say that's probably high on the list of transformations and what I see is a difference in kids that are coming out of my classes.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can relate. I have two daughters, one who's 9 and one who's 14, but the older one, she had a lot of issues with anxiety, right, when she was a little bit younger. And during that time, her mom and I were actually really big into meditating. Through a friend of a friend, we found a yoga instructor who didn't specialize in kids, but she had these little side classes that she would do as kids. And we would send my daughter to these, and she would actually benefit so much from it. She was a
Yeah.
different kid when she would come out. She looked forward to going. She would meditate on her own. There was just definitely a lot of benefits, and I think what you're doing is great because, like you said, there's not a whole lot of studios out there that specialize in kids. So it's a great thing for a lot of people there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing that she experienced that. There's a lot of anxiety, and like I've had a lot of moms crying at my front desk telling me about the anxiety that their children feel. Like I mean, I didn't experience anxiety until I was in my 30s. Like we've got 4, 5, 6 year olds experiencing that. That's wild to me. Like that's sad to me. I mean, but it's okay at the same time because that gives you like a baseline. Like, okay, this is what we're working with. This is what we're dealing with. Now, how can we make it better? I mean, that's real cool. That's good stuff.
That I personally didn't experience anxiety until COVID, until we were like in lockdown. I honestly before that didn't really know what people with anxiety felt until I was like sitting on the couch one day and I was like, "What is this? I gotta get up. I gotta move. I can't. It's not right." And then it just clicked there. So Denise, talk to us a little bit about your book. I see you wrote a children's book, which is awesome. Uh, I'm blaming Amazon. Whenever I try to click on it to go look at more information, that's when I was getting booted. So I'm not clicking on it anymore. But tell us a little about that book. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah. So I wrote a book about it's Boza. So if you look behind me, you see this guy right here? That dragonfly. So the dragonfly are the mascots in our studio. I have two logos. One is for the little kids, one is for the teens and tweens kind of thing. And I used to call him Buzzy Guy. So I was like, wait, why are we not calling him Buzzy? So, and then Boza just makes perfect sense. And the name of the book is Buzzy Boza Finds Yoga. And it is a loosely based off of my two boys. I'm a mom. I have two boys, Nicholas and Matthew, the two joys of my life, two parts of my heart. It is about Buzzy's Nicholas and Maddie the Bat is in there too. That's my younger son. There's a lot of undertone stuff happening in that book because I didn't want to be like, oh, Buzzy has ADHD. Like, who cares? Like, we talk about how Buzzy has a lot of energy, right?
Right.
So instead of giving him a label, let's just make it that he's very excitable. Like has a lot of energy because I didn't want to go into that, like diagnosing anything. And Buzzy Boza circle in the lavender field in Flutterville and he joins and life changes for him. He finds stillness, which is amazing because that's one of the things that kids are looking for these days, believe it or not. And it's based on a breathing technique too. So it actually gives Buzzy the opportunity to be able to self-regulate by using pranayama, deep breathing, and it teaches kids how to do that. So the other part of it is that a lot of kids use melatonin now to fall asleep because they're minding screens and stimulating their brain and they're all woo, and it's hard to go to sleep after that. So
Yeah, I'm guilty of
Yeah,
that.
us too.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah, giving them the melatonin. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, melatonin is a hormone. It could potentially hurt your kids. I know that there's doctors out there who are like, don't do it. But listen, you got to do what you got to do because sleep is important too. Right. And if you think that's the only thing out there, then I understand that as well. Like, this is almost like your only kind of like the only solution to the problem. But I'm here to share that book is about breathing techniques because when we flood our body with fresh oxygen and our nervous system starts to calm down and our brain starts to slow down and our body becomes in a relaxed state, it is way easier to fall asleep in that situation. And the other part of it is like some kids feel like they're different because they don't know how to slow themselves down and all the other kids are kind of sitting nicely in a classroom. I mean, but that one is about regular a breathing technique, and I will be writing more.
Awesome, man. Congrats. That's awesome. So tell us, all your classes in a studio, or do you ever take your children classes outdoors, specific location? I know it's a little difficult being kids. You have to keep track of them and all that. But do you ever do any outdoor classes? You caught my attention when you mentioned, they're staring at screens all day. Sunshine is
Mm-hmm.
obviously a great, um, you know, nourishing
Back.
nourishing
Yes.
factor and in everybody's lives. So just wondering.
So my studio, I do a lot of things. So one of the things that I have is a brick and mortar. We teach classes underneath the roof, right? So I have birthday parties, we do Girl and Boy Scouts, we do also do adult classes, we do camps, stuff like that. But I also do an outreach program, and that means that I have teachers who I train. I teach a 95-hour teacher training course so adults can teach kids yoga. So I'm certified to do that as well. I encompass everything kids yoga, right? So I train these people, and schools will call and say, we want to implement yoga in our school. So we just had a wonderful opportunity that we were in a school district for the entire stretch of the school year
Awesome.
because we fall under the guise of social emotional learning. So the schools are looking for modalities to bring in to help kids under their curriculum. So I will go in and take over gym. So I just had K through 5, an entire school district that I got to see through the school year that I got to teach.
Very cool.
Um,
And this is all
so
in
yeah,
New Jersey, right?
I am in New Jersey. We do have some things going. I think we have some accounts in New York, but like we do pre-Ks, we do libraries, we do public schools. We'll do, we'll go out and go on site for people for birthday parties. Like, here's my deal. My deal is if your kid needs yoga and you can't get to me, I'm going to come to you
Awesome.
for sure.
So how
Yeah,
do
it's
people
important.
find you? Or is it just word of mouth? Or do you do advertising on social media?
So I mentioned this to you guys before. I'm very loud. I'm Italian, middle child, Scorpio. I mean, what else? So no, but I'm just, so what I do is I make a lot of noise on social media, and I also do campaigns. So I have a software that allows me to target people that I have emails and, my email accounts that are prospects. And there were and podcasts. And then I also, we were thinking about doing mailings too, but like, one of the things that I actually did was I would go to AI and be like, how do I make this happen in my kids' yoga studio? And they're kind of like, we don't know what kids' yoga studios are. There aren't any. I'm just kidding. No,
AI
I
still
mean, like
learning.
AI is like the most viable way to go about getting ideas, right? But I don't think I'm a boomer. I don't think I fall in that category of being a boomer. But I'm not really good at AI, and that's the truth. So yeah.
So yeah, we get that a lot. That it's a good like mind unblocker, right? When you kind of have like writer's block, where you need fresher ideas that maybe you didn't think of. Just having like that conversation with AI sometimes unblock stuff. So tell us a little bit about your day to day. Are you using AI for anything other than like brainstorming?
Well, so there's a few things that I've used AI for. So to go back, my book is not written by AI, but someone had given me the idea to write the book. So I went to AI and I started asking it for images. And the craziest thing happened, like, none of the images in my book are AI. I had an illustrator. He was amazing. He's fantastic. But the point is that I would say to AI, show me a little boy with, uh, a dragonfly outfit, a disheveled little boy with a dragonfly outfit or whatever it was. And this kid he looked like my oldest son. I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking me out. Hey, I knew what my kid looked like. Oh my God. So it actually helped me to create and get ideas for what I wanted the place to look like the background. So I used AI for that. And then I used AI for, yeah, because cycling, how do I make kids yoga a thing, right? Because I feel like people think it's just like this bougie activity in Berkeley County, not realizing that a cumulative yoga practice for children could be life-changing
Right.
for sure, right? I think I might have even used it for like, give me some ideas of how to name a kid's yoga class, but
And how long
yeah.
ago did you write your book? Because I know like generative AI, the image generation and all that, that's recently gotten really, really good. I think when it first started, it was pretty bad. But how long ago did you write your book?
Book. It was probably like a year ago.
Oh, okay. That's why I kept clicking on Amazon. I was trying to see when it was published. I think I saw 2025, but
Well, okay. So writing it and finding a publisher and an illustrator are two
It's a
different
different
things.
story.
Like, so what?
That was a whole different story, but go ahead.
Well, here's the thing about the book that I wrote. Like, every single day I am in a room with kids. So I have a library full of books. Like a library full because of all of these scenarios and incidents and things that happen and like growth and oops and like don't do that again and
Mhm.
hey, let's try that one more time. You know what I mean?
Different kids,
But
different
yeah,
ages, different
sweet
experiences.
kids are amazing. Like they're so amazing. Like they're just naturally kind. You know what I mean? So, but as far, look, so I think I'm deviating from the question. The question was about writing the book with AI, right?
Well,
That's what you asked?
I was asking when you wrote it, and then you started talking about how you used AI when I asked you about you using AI in anything of your regarding to
Yeah.
your operations. Yeah.
I have since like I changed a lot of it. None of the arts is from the AI, but like the story is it's not really from AI either, but like it provoked me. Like it like gave me great ideas. Like, okay, that's the way the sentence structure should be kind of thing. Because I'm not
That was my next question. I was going to ask if you used it like as a, kind of as an editor. Did you
yes.
have check your work per se?
Yeah, I should add this too. So, I mean, it was the original thing when I was like I should write a book or someone's like you should write a book and I was like, okay, that's a good idea. Show me some images and then I was like, what about a story about a boy who dresses up like a dragonfly, blah blah blah, and then it gave me the story and then I rewrote it because I didn't feel like I don't know, it didn't feel like my story. But what I will tell you is that a lot of what I do is, as far as AI is concerned, if I'm going to release like a promotion or something like that, I kind of throw it back into AI to feed it back to me because my mind is like jumble, like crazy. So and it kind of like puts things out really nicely for me. And man, it's magic too. It's good stuff.
Awesome. Denise, so being a former gym owner myself, I know that some of the struggles that I had when I was running it were like with lead generation, a lot of times with memberships accounts. Usually during the holidays, people would be like, hey, can you freeze my account? Or I want to cancel this, or, and just keeping up with that, right? Keeping up with all the member requests, generating leads, coming up with ways to get people in through my door. And back then, I wish I would have had some of these tools that are available now that would help me do any of that stuff. Is there anything in your day to day that you would consider like a big challenge for yourself that,
Yes.
yeah, what would that be?
So mentioned this before. Like when my husband said there's no kids yoga studios, he was like, why? And I was like, great. I had to go back and think about why. And the reason why is because of the perception of yoga. Like people think yoga is just for adults. In India, yoga is a subject in school. There's yoga competitions in school. So we're clearly not on the same page as far as what yoga is. It's originating country. So I always feel like it's a challenge for me for people to be serious about kids doing yoga. Like, you can't go to the gym once and walk out and be like, where are my muscles? Like it's the same thing. Like your child has no tools or techniques. Maybe like, they will maybe the first time they have something, it stays with them. But it's cumulative. So keeping on doing it is the challenge, right? So that would probably be one of the biggest ones is there not the misunderstanding about like what exactly it is that we're doing here and the consistency,
That
right?
it's a continued thing, almost like a lifelong. You mentioned there was something you said earlier, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but you made me think like yoga is not a one class, two class. It's almost like a lifelong exercise journey that you take, right, for your mind, body, and soul kind of thing. So the fact that you
Yeah, like a
tapped into
lifestyle
yeah, like there you go,
lifestyle change.
lifestyle. Yeah, it's a lifestyle. So the fact that you're teaching it at such a young age is pretty inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, they're like into it too. It's just the
I
craziest thing.
bet I could just imagine.
Yeah. They
It's
blow
got to
me
be a
away.
little higher energy. I mean, so what do you do? I'm sure the kids come in, they're really excited to see you, Denise, and match that energy that you have. What do you do to bring them down to, settle them and all that? Like, Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, that's a good question too, because they do like first of all, our biggest problem at my studio is the kids don't want to leave. That's my problem. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. Like I designed this place. But here's the funny thing is that so they'll come in here and they'll see that this looks like a kid's yoga studio. It's fun, it's vibrant, it's alive. There's fun things to do, to see, touch, whatever. When I take them into the yoga room, that's when it kind of feels like it's right. So no one goes into the yoga room until the class starts. We're not running around the yoga room. That's for starters. The second thing is when we go into the yoga room, we have to get ready. We have to roll out our yoga mats. This is the way we will be seated. Are we going to sit in a circle today? Are we going to face the mirror? Are we going to face the logo? That kind of thing. That whole experience in and of itself feels like it brings down the level of excitement a little bit.
Get them ready.
Yeah, because it's like a really big room and there's nothing in it but mirrors and a logo. Like, so it's not like the rest of the studio. The rest of the studio feels like fun time. But then when you go into the classroom, it actually gets serious. But they're very curious as to what exactly is going to happen next. You know what I'm saying? So the younger they are, the more props we use to keep them engaged. And as they get older, the practice gets a little bit more disciplined and less like we're not using scarves and glitter sticks anymore, actual yoga. And that's really when it is like, because they're so curious, they're attentive and I want to say quiet. That's probably not.
You took the word out of my mouth. Yeah, I was going to say you make them attentive once they want, like you said, they're eager to learn, right?
Yes.
So they become attentive. So yeah, you nailed it. And I think how you separated that too, like from a playroom to once you go to the yoga room, it almost reminded me, and this is probably a bad analogy, but like when you have reptiles, right? You have to take them to feed them somewhere else, like separate play from business, I guess it's kind of like.
Oh my God, that's a great analogy. Yeah, exactly. And I also too, it's interesting because like the lobby looks really fun and you would think a child would want to stay where the fun was, but they're still there. That's not enough to keep them in the lobby. They want to know what's going to happen in the yoga room. And then, my job is, yes, I'm going to keep them engaged with like whatever it is that I show up with. But like when they start to like practice crow pose and like see that they can balance on their hands, my God, forget it. They come out to the lobby when we're done with the class and they start doing yoga in the lobby because they want, Mom, look what I can do. Dad, look what I can do. I'm going to go home and show, blah, blah, blah. I bet you can't do this. Like, so it feels like they come out with like goals and they don't even know
That's
it.
easier for them to do too than adults. Trust me, I've tried.
It seems like they also want to keep learning. Like they wish they could learn more.
Yeah, they do. Well, that's the thing is that they want to come back.
How often, that was my next question, how often are your classes? Do they come back? Is it once a week, a couple times a week?
So the way that I designed my studio is that I wanted it to be a kids yoga studio run like an adult yoga studio. For example, I did see there were a few yoga studios, maybe one in New York during COVID that shut down. And she was very seasonal. Like, so she would do like I don't know who it was, an 8-week program, and then the doors would shut. My doors never shut except for holidays. So I have rolling classes. So like Monday, Tuesday, Saturday to Saturday, 7 days a week, we're open. So, we have 3 to 5-year-olds, 6 to 10-year-olds, tweens and teens. We have boys only because I think it's important for that because a lot of boys feel like have already established that yoga is a girl thing. That's fine. So, in the boys class looks a little bit more like, we'll play 4 corners. It's yoga related. I make it, all conducive to the environment. And then we also do special needs. We have all abilities classes for kids who have autism, whatever.
Sensory issues like you were mentioning before, right?
Yes. I actually really happy about this because I have people who are in the therapies, like an occupational therapist who's in my all abilities class. So it's like an OT yoga situation happening going, like, it's so cool. It makes perfect sense to me. And I think if a parent saw that, they'd be like, oh my God, that's great. Like OT and yoga together in one class. Like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. So I run it like an adult yoga studio.
That's cool.
That's good. So we've seen in the industry currently, Denise said, a lot of wellness instructors, gym owners, and people in that field, they started using more tech tools to manage like bookings, sometimes even to tailor class content. Have you considered anything like that to like streamline your offerings? And if so, is there a specific offering that you think that would help you with?
I don't know, but that sounds
like
brilliant. Like
yeah.
that's like, so So this is what I use. I use social medias and I use listen, you get in with a mom group and they'll go anywhere.
Yeah, they
So
spread the word.
really, like that's the word of mouth situation. And we all
That
know
was
that
my
that's,
target demographic.
The mom group.
well, they were all going to talk. I mean, so, but that's always my biggest advocates. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think I have enough education about what you're talking about. Like I'm totally interested in that. Like, cause I feel like there's something, like I was thinking of what would it be, like mailers, and someone's like put an ad in a magazine. I'm like, I don't even open magazines. Why would I spend money on opening a magazine? I don't do that. Like, do you open magazines anymore? Am I the
No,
only one?
no,
Yeah, see,
it's been a while.
that's what I'm saying.
If it's there, I mean, I look at it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe
Yeah.
like right, you go to the dentist or something like that when you're
Yeah,
sitting
but
there
wouldn't you
waiting.
rather look at your emails and your text messages
Yeah,
and your
most people are on their
Facebook
phones. Exactly. Yeah, most people are on their phones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is so, like, outside of that, I wouldn't even know the first thing to do, honestly. Like, I have a software program and I am not like listen, I can only do so much.
Right.
They're wanting me
Only
to
one of
do
you.
this other stuff. I'm lucky I could still like just eat. You follow me as a business owner? Like I do everything. I do everything. I don't want to learn another task, and I, especially because it's like boink, boink, boink. I don't care about that. Like I could care less about like software or whatever the hell you're telling me about. You know what I'm saying? Like talk to me about kids yoga and like the benefits. I'm about it. But like outside of that, like that's a snooze fest. So
Yeah, sounds like
maybe you
you
can
would like
help
to
me with that.
automate anything you can. And that's kind of that, we mentioned this a little bit at the beginning, and that's kind of what we do, right? So we'll take this call and the transcript and we'll put it up on a AI tool that we have, and it'll literally track every word and see if there's opportunities like, oh, she mentioned this, like maybe AI could help her here.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's why we ask you like any bottlenecks that you have, that's why we also ask next question here is where do you see Boza Yoga Littles in the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh my God. You asked the wrong How much time do you have?
Well, give us like maybe your top 3 initiatives for, the remainder of the year.
Well, so in the next 6 to 10, 12 months, okay, I would like to double my revenue and then some. I don't know if in 6 to 12 months this is going to be happening, but I absolutely want to franchise because there's not any kids yoga studios. And I have like the greatest like makeup of business. Like it's foolproof. Like I feel like, the people who we do have.
Untapped market too, it seems. Very few people have tapped that market, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like we need kids to do yoga, really is what that. I also wanted to start my second book. I have 4 books like I could like write right now because of my experiences. And then let's see, what are other Oh, I'm apprehensive about telling you another secret, but I have another product that I would love to launch that I've been working on for a real, like I've worked on that, like, I mean, before I even thought about a kids yoga studio, another product. So I have things that I want to do. You know what I mean? Like what I'm trying to do continually in the next 6 to 12 months is to position myself as the person who knows all kids, who does all kids yoga things, all things kids yoga, I should say.
The go-to person when it comes to kids yoga. Love it.
Exactly. And I have a great team. I mean, they're so amazing. I need more outreach so that all of them can become employed and like I can keep all my little, my group together, which, they're doing great. I mean, everybody, it's like, when you're in the right place, all the right people start showing up.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Well, I think
So-
your energy radiates that and attracts the right people and the right energies towards you. I think that has a lot to do with it. Well, Denise, we are coming up on time, so we do want to also give you an opportunity to, again, tell our viewers and your listeners, where they can find you, how they can reach you, if they want to set up, some sort of event with you. Like you mentioned, like you do a lot of birthday parties, outreach programs, school classes, you name it. If it has to do with kids and yoga, you do it, right? So, yeah, go ahead and tell our viewers how they can find you, the best way to reach you, that kind of stuff.
Okay, my name is Denise Boza. I am the owner of Boza Yoga Studios. We are a children's yoga studio in the heart of Allendale, New Jersey, that is in Bergen County. I am on Facebook at Boza Yoga Studios. I am on Instagram at Boza Yoga Studios. My website is bozayogastudios.com, B-O-Z-Z-A, yoga studios with an S.com. And I am located at 1 Myrtle Ave on the 2nd floor in Allendale, New Jersey. And my number is 201-620-6295. I think that's it. Is that it? Did I say everything? I
Yeah,
think I did.
yeah, no, whatever, however you like to be contacted, that's what we give you the opportunity to do.